open the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Martyr absent, Mazer.
Here.
Schneider. Sofa.
Here.
Weaver.
Here.
Wilson absent, Zimmer absent.
Make a motion to excuse the absences.
Support.
Mazer.
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Sofa.
Yes.
Weaver.
Here.
Wilson, Zimmer, and Martyr absent.
Okay, we have non-agenda items from the sidelines. Mr. Fields?
Jim Fields, 80263 Bell River Road. Since I'm on the agenda, I do have some non-agenda things. Thanks for making some changes at the city, seeing city emails being applied across the board, which is nice to see. Thanks for getting the tax records updated, BSA online. I finally can see my tax records being updated on the service through Macomb County. So thank you for getting those things done.
Thanks, Mr. Fields. Comments from city administration? You're already on the agenda.
Yeah, I know.
And you're on the agenda.
Yeah, I have
also.
something on the agenda, but does she have to sit through the whole
She doesn't
meeting?
have, I know I told her she doesn't have to speak or sit through the whole meeting, we kinda know what's going
I'm
on,
gonna
but.
say, can we address it now, or?
No, because it's gotta be voted on, so.
Oh, okay, all right. I tried.
But you don't really have to sit here, you can give her a call and update her, we know what happened.
Yeah,
If you don't want.
you don't have to sit here if you don't want, I can call you if you'd like.
So they should have to decide what they're gonna do or not?
Yeah,
Mhm. And he'll give you a call.
you can sit here.
You can sit and wait, but, yeah.
You're under new business number 6.
I wanna sit here for a few.
It's interesting.
Oh, you're welcome. So,
Much to do.
we have some, Parks and Rec. Anything?
Yeah, I mean, I can speak on that. We've had several trips and they all sold out.
Good.
The only one that hasn't, I just posted, it's a December trip to the Detroit Symphony Orchestra for a holiday hops concert. Our music in the park was very successful. We have one rescheduled for August 28th, which is a Wednesday night, with Cash O'Reilly. His show was rained out. So I think other than that, I don't think so. I'm Parks and Rec.
That's it?
That's it.
Thank you. We have some amending of the agenda. So we are adding to the agenda new business, number 11, for police department. New business number 12, Boardman Road, Phase 2.
Phase 2 or phase 3?
Oh, Phase 3, sorry. And 13 is our CD from Choice One Bank, the renewal of that. Can I get a motion to amend the agenda?
Make a motion to amend the agenda.
Is there any other thing that anybody's adding?
Yes. Needs to be very brief, but I do want to bring along, I would like to just discuss the sidewalk placement very briefly we could add in.
That is number 5. That's introduction to amend street and sidewalk ordinance.
Well, that was just more stuff, updating certain things. I can talk about their levy at least.
If you want to just talk about that during that, is that fine?
It's up to you.
Oh, okay.
We'll be on the subject at least.
Well, I was wondering where 4 was, you said 5. Did I miss something?
No,
Under unfinished business? You said 4.
I don't know any form or not.
Oh, I see what you're looking at.
Everything's new business. So the CD, so that's it, yeah, so there's a motion on the floor.
Okay, that's fine. That will-
Or, oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'd also like briefly again
No, it's not new business.
But under old business.
We'll put that
unfinished.
under 4 for old business,
Unfinished, yeah.
unfinished.
And one last one, I want to discuss planning consultant for planning commission.
So 14
Subject
for,
last time I had a discussion there, I needed to bring the council information I got there, maybe make a motion to bring somebody on board to help.
so that's 14 new business planning consultant.
I'll support the motion.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson, Zimmerman, Murder, absent, Mazer.
Yes.
All right, can I get a motion for approval of regular meeting minutes of July 2nd and special meeting minutes of July 10th, 23rd, and 30th?
So moved.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson, Zimmer, Murder, absent, Mazer,
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
And, presentation and approval of, July disbursements report of $290,555.91 and electronic wire transfers in the amount of $12,935.28.
I'll make a motion to approve the disbursements for July, $290,555.91, and electronic wire transfers of $12,935.28.
Like, quick questions, please, just out of curiosity, on Don, I see this is a lot more money, but when I'm looking through it, does a lot of that have to do with, our insurance and all the various departments?
BSNA,
I mean, it's
our
quite a bit
software.
more than we normally
Yeah.
have on there, so. And also, I was curious, what is, contract services?
Under,
Police department, 2548, contract services, what that was.
I,
DC3.
oh, that's, our software. That's our software.
Oh, software, okay.
For the audit.
I mean, it's our, I'm sorry, our tech guys. It's not software, it's our IT guys,
For just.
for our computers.
Just computers separately for the police department, is that everything?
Well, that's what it came out of there, it's a contract, it come out of anybody else's, I don't know.
Yeah, just something different on this one.
Yeah, that would be for the police department, whatever they had done.
And, the 24,000 for water sewer, that's the repairs to the lagoon.
Yes. Maybe
All support.
a Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson, Zimmer, Murder, absent, Mazer,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa.
Yes. Communications, I have one from Sage Creek Water.
Accept them.
I'll make a motion to accept the
Accept the communications.
communications, place on file.
All right.
I'm sorry, Wilson, Zimmer, Murder, absent, Mazer,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
So, just to give an outline of this, Sage Creek Winery is planning on holding a fall festival. It seems pretty similar as far as their footprint and space that they're gonna use as their dog event. What they're asking is if they can close off the alleyway that goes from south to north adjacent to the city building, along with the area directly behind the winery. And in addition, they're looking for written permission to utilize the parking lot located directly west of the city building for both dog adoption and temporary licensing through the Michigan Liquor Control. And see the attached diagram, you have it in your agenda, in your packet. And it looks similar to their dog event that they do every year. It seems like they're doing another. Can I get a motion to allow this?
I'd like to make a comment on that.
But,
We don't actually own that alley
that's Smitty.
from north to south, so mostly we do.
So they can take it up.
Hey, we maintain it, so.
Yeah, no, they do it at least once a year. It looks like they're trying to do it in the fall as well. They do spring, so.
Maybe we should send them a letter.
About
I'll let them know that we're gonna be closing the alley out for a day.
Who,
No.
Smitty or somebody?
Yes, yes.
You can do that. Yeah, can I get a motion to allow this? Or any discussion?
I'll make that.
You got Zimmer, Martyr, Bassett, Mazer,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson, absent.
Unfinished business, we have, a painting quote for the library. That's this, DAD building. Did anybody get a chance to look at that? We had some other quotes before. Are those still active? Does anybody know if those are still,
I think Becky can talk on
huh?
it. I think Becky's here for the library.
Becky, you
for the
want to
library
speak
too.
on this? Okay.
Yeah, they're still active. We had another person come in to write a quote, and he came and he looked and he never came back.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You don't happen to have a copy of the other one, do you? The previous quote?
I'm like, wait, this is my first, right? You know what? I don't have
You
it.
want me to find one?
I don't have one. It's in my packet from last.
It's, yeah, it's
Okay.
on the old packet, so.
Yes.
I know one was like,
It wasn't detailed at
Totally
all,
different,
just
right?
had the price on it.
The other
It
one.
said paint, 2 coats.
Yeah.
sanding.
yeah, it didn't say it was just like patch and paint, so
Right,
real
it
simple.
didn't give a type of paint that was to be used.
So this is the one that we have here,
Yeah, that one.
and this is the other one, okay. Do you guys have yours still? Do you wanna look at this other?
I'll make her leave it.
Let's take a look at it. This one here is just rewrite that. Becky, do you wanna go over some of the details, what you think are the pros and cons of these contractors?
So, what I can't really speak on the quote that's not very detailed, other than, I know they do decent work, word of mouth. Now, this one, I personally used this, group, and, I can speak that they do very quality work, and I know they'd show up and finish the job.
This is the $5,000 one,
Yes.
and this is
The one, yeah, this one is the $5,000 one. The other one, I don't know a lot of details on that one. I've looked into them and seen good reviews. But I don't know much, is because I wasn't there when they came and gave the quote. I don't know what type of paint they would use or anything
It says it'll be Sherwin Williams on the quote.
Yeah,
on that
the
one.
browns, the other one didn't really have,
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Mhm.
brown,
they just said, it was really vague,
Yeah,
it was
I see,
just
it wasn't
patch and paint, right?
I'll recommend that we go with DAD building then, I guess, right?
Is there any other discussion we want before that motion goes?
Not much really to look at.
Good?
I'm good with it.
I'll make it a motion.
I support it.
Okay, Martyr, absent, Mazer,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson and Zimmer, absent.
No, I don't have this, the millage I want to spend, I don't see what I have. At least it's not really. Go ahead.
Oh, no,
we're on
she's
number
gonna
three.
talk about
Yeah.
it, Becky.
Oh, yes. Again, another cat.
No, we're not there
You
yet.
guys
actually. We're not there yet.
Okay,
I'm,
okay.
that's the painting quote, oh yeah, that
Yeah,
is
of
part
course.
of it.
Real
Yep.
quick, you guys already approved the millage thing.
Uh-huh,
It's just what to do with the money, and I asked her to speak.
okay.
Yes, so, it was mentioned to me, Mr. Weaver mentioned a kayak launch, and I like that idea. But I don't know, I haven't really delved into a whole lot more.
we looked into that
We
before.
have, yeah, I remember we talked about that a lot before.
About the depths of the river,
Mhm.
right in that park area. I've always been against that one because of the location.
Okay.
Is this
In April,
an ADA handicap boat or kayak launch or no? It's
It
a
was
regular
just an
kayak launch.
idea, I haven't looked
Oh,
at
okay.
the
That's what
types
we
of
looked
launches
into.
yet.
Yeah, there's a few types. I know that sometimes they'll rise and go lower and higher.
Yeah.
When the water's higher and lower, you know, so they're not submerged.
There's a bunch of
There's
innovative
a lot of
designs
different sort of
that could
things.
be compatible. I did research it fairly well. There are 8 or 10 of them. I got in touch with the Clinton River watershed and the Bell River watershed. And I just stopped looking into it because I'm not going any further with there may be money available until that master plan is done. I don't want to really approach and talk to the DNR and other entities that might help with the funding, but I think it's a very doable thing, and it would give us a lot of benefit. What I was looking at was just exposure for recreation. It would get us more on the map in St. Clair and Macomb County. I walked all the river back there that we own, back by the park.
Is it clear?
So,
Pretty clear, no trees?
oh yeah, through there it's.
Oh, it's a big problem, you know, there's a lot of down trees along there.
it's not a good summer river in that area.
Right.
In the park.
Spring.
Yeah, then the
Yeah, I
park,
mean,
a little ways
like the
down.
Bell River, you want to go when the water's a little higher,
Yeah.
definitely. But,
Which we really haven't got much in the last couple of years because of the lack of snow, but
Well, it's deeper back by where the flag is,
Mhm. by the pit.
by the pit.
Yeah,
It's a good route. I was just thinking offhand, if we had one there in the park. There's a couple of private pieces of property I looked at. There's one, you know, going out of town on Boardman. Again, I take public partner, private partnership. And then there's one, the other shorter one, or the other one is just outside of town on Weber Road. I think, is that what, just south of me on, it intersects it.
Mhm.
It's another spot where the river crosses, so I mean.
Is that St.
for
Clair?
short-
This, wait,
It has to be in
sorry.
St. Clair
It
County.
has to be in St. Clair County.
Yeah, I
so
know,
where you're at,
I'm just saying, looking ahead, if, you know, if
routes.
we would want to have one in our park.
Hmm.
And that would just raise the profile of the park and, you know, open up some funds to us. But eventually, if we could get a few people to cooperate, then you would have, you know, it'd be a great short day trip from there down to town. It's just about through the entire Bell River green belt, if you will.
We should take it to Gratiot a lot.
Well, I'm not thinking that big yet. You know,
Nice,
I was,
new trips.
the idea that I was throwing out, and I mentioned to Becky and discussed with them, they took some pictures of some other places too, was, you know, what would be a first step. And feasible or not, I don't know, but that's as far as I got with it, and I wouldn't be pursuing it anymore until that master plan is done, so that's where I left off on it, and all the other issues we had coming up, I haven't much time for it anyway.
How long do you have to decide on something like that?
They usually like hit back in a couple months.
So we don't have to decide tonight.
You don't have to decide tonight,
I
but
see, 'cause there's, we would,
next
But the
month
months go
I would,
fast.
yeah,
maybe
decide.
we can kind of do some polling and asking around what people think might be, you know.
Yeah, and everybody
would be a
come up with
kayak
ideas.
thing, or, you know,
Discuss them
would
at the next one.
update some of the
Yeah,
actual
great.
existing park equipment that's been there since I was a kid playing down the same stuff, you know.
Last year, at
We
this
did
time,
some-
you approved the dock, remember Bert, you
Yeah.
took out the dock?
Yeah.
No, but you didn't like the dock, you told me
Yeah.
if you could find a different dock.
If you came
You
down,
still have that money?
Well, we're combined last year and
Last year and
this
this
year.
year, so we have more
Into
than
the park.
3,000?
No, that's
Have
what
a
we got
dock.
together, they only give us
get
a little
out
bit.
at the park.
Oh, okay.
Something that you could remove in the winter, is that what
Well,
you-
yeah, we'd have to be able to move,
Yeah.
right.
And that's kind of designs I was seeing, part looking more interesting to me is, you know, you had like a foundational part on the bank where you're probably gonna have some bowl or something where you just set that in there.
Yeah,
And then the piece that's actually gonna be in the river, and a lot of them are ADA, so you
Yeah.
can get out there with, so they're,
oh,
Yeah,
Eric
more
myself looked
details
at some
to look into.
ADA ones, few years back.
St. Clair County gives them, at that time, it was giving them away, but
Oh,
they're
yeah,
awfully big.
yeah,
They're really big, and there's just no water there in the summer. It's, you know,
right,
I mean, you can just basically set your kayak down on the ground, and you don't really need because it's like almost like a rail system like this. I don't know if you've ever seen what they have for ADA. So you put the kayak in, but they wanted you to have a paved approach area too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you have to have a paid approach area for somebody to park, handicap parking. Then they need to be able to get their wheelchair from their vehicle to the ADA, I forget what they call it, the kayak
Launch or whatever.
launcher, yeah, that's what they call it. And I think it had wheels on it so that when you pushed yourself off of it, it would just push you right in. But when we looked at it, it was so big. I know, where'd we go?
It was Marysville.
Marysville, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen that one.
Yeah.
And we do have to get, to do anything like that, you have to get approval
Well,
from
I
the
got
state,
smiled
right?
because it was damn near, it was a river.
Yeah.
Gotta get approval from the, Eagle or DNR.
I'm not sure, but I'm sure that
Yeah.
they would want to have a, stick their nose in it anyways.
But it doesn't necessarily have to be ADA though, either, does it?
Oh, no, I'm just saying, that the one that we looked at that St. Clair County was giving them away, that's what we saw. And it was, like Mark said, I mean, it would, I'm not sure there'd be much room to even get by it once you took that thing in there.
And
but-
even if we got a dock for, people coming upstream to the park, again, it would be something that would be, that'd have to be removed, you know.
I thought the place to really put something like that would be at the back of the trails, because the water's deeper.
Yes,
But
Yeah.
you're probably only going one direction from there. I mean, you know, some, obviously, like now, it's really low, you're just gonna,
Right.
you're gonna be carrying your canoe or whatever you take there.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of good spots downriver from the park that would be interesting to consider, because again, it's
Yeah,
just,
go down to Columbus Park, easily. How much that falls in the river.
Okay, so what do we wanna do on this?
I guess we table it till next month.
I'll make a motion to table it.
Support.
Mazer,
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
yes.
Wilson, Zimmer, Murder, absent.
Off here. We have the, adoption of sign ordinance number 225. Anyone have anything to say on that?
I make a motion to adopt the ordinance as written.
Support.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson, Zimmer, Murder, absent, Mazer.
Okay, on to, Steve with the rental inspections, you had something to speak on that?
Yes, we need to forward think a little bit on how we want to launch that, so I just want people to think about, you know, where we want to publish this, the actual mechanics of it. Our building inspector has agreed now that we have to take on that duty. The inspections were gonna be good for 2 years at a time, once it gets initiated, but there's a timing issue where we'd like to have them all renewing at the same time. So if we started advertising now, communicating that we need people to sign up for the rental part of properties to get inspected, to schedule inspections, I would suggest that we schedule inspections that will start taking place in the spring of 2025. And whatever fee, we have to decide on fees also. But if we get everybody lined up and do all of our additional inspections to those who disclose they have rental properties, that inspection will be good for a year. And then henceforth, we'll give 2 years. So that every 2 years, all these inspections will be coming up for renewal at the same time, to take a lot of confusion. And now is his slow time of year. You know, I think we might be able to get something started now, but he's too busy. That's what he says, with other things going on, to really pay attention to that, so that'll give us time to advertise it, get feedback out there to the community on our webpage, newspaper, whatever, and just start making people aware that it's coming. And the sooner they sign up and get on the list, the better, because we're going to be requiring inspections in spring
Because
2025.
we have rental, we can look at our tax records and look at non-homesteaded properties that are probably.
Yeah, anything that's all good stuff, so then we can find out, and just, I
Send out a
think they give
letter.
everybody plenty of time.
Send out a letter.
Okay, that's sounds good. Is there anything that needs to be voted on for that, or is that just,
Did we ever vote on how much we're gonna charge?
No, I don't really.
No, I think you did, I thought the ordinance said 100.
Yeah,
But there's
75.
all different kinds of fees when I've been looking around, like there's cancellation fees, no show up fees.
So we need to have like a
it
fee
needs to-
schedule?
Yeah,
so, since we're not going to implement until the spring, let's work on a fee schedule so that we're ready for that in the next.
And we need to get the documents prepared too, there's probably out of that ordinance that we were using for kind of a draft, 9 or 10 different documents. We have all that information, kind of clean that out as we're going through it. Maybe not all will require a fee, but there's gonna be, like Don said, there's probably have those, if you get a note, if you don't show up, or if you have a violation notice, things of that nature, we'll have to put a monetary value. We don't wanna make it, get rich on it, but we wanna make sure people are serious.
Really just want it to pay for itself, and make sure everybody's living in a nice.
Seems like we had a sample one over
Safe
here
home.
once already.
I think we did two, yeah.
Yeah, we included a checklist, or a
Yeah.
checklist in there too.
And different.
I know there was some
there's a
stuff,
lot
but yeah,
more
we can probably
different-
glean from, where did we grab that ordinance from?
I don't remember, that was K-Pac.
The Cape.
Yeah, you're right, it was came back.
I'm sure they have forms, we can probably reach out to them and say,
I'm sure not.
We got it. I mean,
yeah, all of, oh.
I got
Well, I mean like their
all
fees, their
over.
fees.
So I mean, out of our specific ordinance that we adopted, as we went through that, I pulled out all the points where you would need a form.
Okay, cool.
And condensed it each into a separate document, they just need to be constructed and a fee put on.
Should that go to-
So we don't really need a vote on this yet, right? Until we have that, and then we'll,
Well, is that going to a committee to do all that, make the fees in that, or?
what would that be, oversight,
Advisory.
advisory? So can I get a motion to send that, over to advisory?
I'll move it to send it to my,
Support.
and all those, while we meet Thursday, all the members, so we'll talk about it then. This is what everybody knows on the docket.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson, Zimmer, Murder, absent, Mazer,
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Sofa.
Yes.
Did you tell them we had anything to do?
For sure, set in stone.
Okay, so we're moving on to new business, and first up we got appointing members to planning commission. Let's see, planning looks like we just have one, and it's there's two people. Please reappoint John Terrace and Ken Dunbar to the planning commission with term to expire July 31st, 2027. And can I get a motion to that effect?
Make that motion.
Support.
Wilson, Zimmer, Murder, absent, Mazer,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver.
Okay, and another one to zoning board of appeals. Please reappoint Scott Brewster to zoning board of appeals with a 2-year term to expire July 2026, and Patrick Henley with a 1-year term to expire in 2025. Can I get a motion?
Make that motion to put on. Scott. Patrick.
Support.
Zimmer, Murder, Mazer. Zimmer, Murder, absent, Mazer,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver, Wilson, absent.
All right, now we're going to administrative memo number 1, budget amendment. We have a water and sewer budget amendment, due to adding 2 new fire hydrants, and they need to make adjustment to, I don't know, what is that number there, is that a property address, property number here? It's fire hydrant
Fire
number.
hydrant.
Yeah.
Amend it by, $280 to make it 10,360. And the lagoon repair contracted services of 24,000. And then the police department budget amendment, mandatory training for police department given by the state, not local money, but to be used in 1 calendar year. And that budget amendment is for $1,998.30.
I'll make a motion to adopt administrative memo number 1 of 24-25.
Support.
Murder, absent, Mazer,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver, Wilson and Zimmer, absent.
That's it. Okay, new business number 4, Mr. Fields had some complaint and correspondence issues. I've read through quite a bit of this. I'm not exactly sure what exactly we are addressing here, or at least talking about here tonight. Jim, Mr. Fields, you wanna?
What do you wanna go through? You wanna go through the correspondence with all the code references?
Well, not really, because a lot of that stuff, you're dealing with Donna at that, and we have it already forwarded to the attorney that is advising us on that. So when he tells us what's the right thing to do and when, that's when we'll act on it, I imagine. And then the only one that kind of stood out to me when I was looking through here was about a complaint that was made at a special meeting. That was a special meeting, wasn't a public hearing, so that was a non-agenda issue, and we can't add things to the agenda of a special meeting. So if you'd like to make that part of this meeting to put on record or something,
Well,
That's fine.
that's basically what you've done here, right? You know, with what we have.
So, I understand when I send something in writing, I send it into the city and I supply input. And I also understand when I go to, or any member of the public goes to an open meeting or a public meeting and they give their input. The concern is that there's the appearance among myself and other citizens that their input is overlooked or not taken into account by members of the city council. Now, whether that's true or not, again, we start getting into the minutiae of perception. So when I submit formal correspondence, right, I submit code violations in detail, right, I go to a meeting and the city council is not aware of the documents that they have on record as points of discussion regarding the development. You know, that's a concern. So to follow up, I'm gonna put it in writing and submit it to the city. And then we're gonna go into the next round of meeting cycles, and none of that information seemed to have made it through to the city council, which is just data being supplied to help you to do your role or help you support the city or support your taxpayers. I mean, I'm a taxpayer here. So, and I'm also a property owner in the newer development. So I see these issues in there real live because I'm one of the owners. So I've read my contracts and I've done that. I've yet to see or meet Tom Urban, who's your code enforcer that you appointed back in October of 2023. Myself and many other citizens have brought direct violations of your city code up to you, and there's been no action by the code enforcer. There's been newspaper articles written where members of the city council may have been quoted in that article, and then the developer or the developer's attorney or the builder's attorney comes back and says that didn't happen. So as somebody that's boots on the ground, I'm supplying that information back to the city council. So I would hope that the city council sees that, takes that into account, and enters that as part of their discussion, rather than it seems like week after month, you know, it doesn't come up, or it's not common knowledge, or it's not part of the discussion, and that's a concern.
Well, this is July 10th dated, right?
That's July 10th.
So it's been a month.
It's been a month. But we started at the beginning of July.
Well, I'm talking about this right here.
Right.
This is what was in my packet.
Okay. Is this the first time you've seen that, Eric?
No, I
The reason why it took so long is because we sent it to our attorney. He said it was very detailed.
Sure.
And he has to go through it. So we have not heard back from him yet.
Sure, and I touched base real briefly off the record with Mr. Francis, at the planning commission, just to make sure that we understood where we were on things. So it's a matter of, like we went through the last meeting, it's just, you know, there's a lot of eyes on this because there are a lot of ways things can go. And my intention is not to be a bull in china shop with the city. Trying to point things out so that doesn't happen. It doesn't have to happen. I don't want that to happen. I would hope that, the city kind of catches wind of these things and looks at it to cover themselves and to support the rest of the citizens in their input in this, because it's kind of a bumpy road, and it's kind of a mid-road portion. I mean, the planning commission at the meeting made some moves, based on some information, which is a positive thing. I've seen changes at the city level where the emails and things, just the minutia, the black and white stuff is being addressed. Donna has done a great job of getting information. It's been a pain in her butt, but she's gotten the stuff, and it's very much appreciated. It's all parts of it. So it's just a matter of, voicing, look, it's frustrating for you to have the input, but the input's there. So, and it's frustrating for me, when I send out detailed stuff like that and I supply it, that it just seems like it's, like this. I mean, the code enforcement aspect of all that stuff is a big deal. I mean, if we talk in a council meeting and we go, okay, well, there's 13 possible violations going back to safety or sidewalk stuff, where's the code guy? Still never seen Tom. I've seen Mel come out there and write violations for pools. Bart's went out and he's put up street barricade signs on a sidewalk that was closed, but that took how many meetings and how many complaints to do that? And that's all been components of it. So my complaint is in general, like, look, we're bringing some of these issues to your table, and they're hot button issues, like, 24, 48, 72 hours, you have a code enforcer. Where is he? 3 meetings, still may get the code enforcement, still never heard. And a lot of that's just, open lines of communication. I would rather engage in conversations than to have to go through typing all that stuff out. It's a waste of my time, it's a waste of your time to have to read it, But if I have to put it together in that format, it's gonna follow a format that's very, very methodical.
Does anybody know what, has Tom Urban,
I know Tom got,
has he received all of these complaints, code violation complaints? He doesn't have to contact you.
No,
You
I know
what
that.
mean? Just-
I know that
He has
part,
to
but-
investigate and do his
I
job.
don't think Tom received these that I'm aware of.
Okay, we need
He
to
was
get-
told about the grass.
If they are code
certain things that he-
violations, then they need to
been
get to
working
him, and he needs to do what his job is to do.
Well, sorry, as his model now, Doug, with Tom just coming on recently, we don't have, it has been kind of a hit and miss. I mean, I talk to Tom occasionally, and I'd ask him to come over and look at Heather's place. When I talked to Heather, she didn't know Tom was over there, and he didn't know where to look. Then I got back hold of Tom, I said, look behind this one, behind that one, solve these and all that. So, and I know, Don, you said that you were trying to refine that system within as far as how it communicates with you.
Yes,
Because it started out, he was just doing it with messages, I guess,
yeah.
on a message, but wasn't able to, Don wasn't able to send them pictures, or he wasn't up to speed.
He was sending me pictures of everything, and it was using all my data, and I had no more data on my phone to get anything.
So we got a few mechanics to work out of there, and we need to address
Some of
that.
these though, I don't know, like the pond, for instance. That to me is an engineer thing, or engineer, and that's why I thought that meeting with planning, you could have addressed it there. I don't know if you did or not, because I wasn't there.
All this stuff has been addressed at both city council and.
Like, I don't think Tom would have nothing to do with the pond detention, that's not his.
No, I think that's gonna be between the city and the developer, and that is in the pipeline now. I mean, where they're gonna go with it as far as the developer goes next, I don't know, but that is definitely on the table.
And Tom did talk about the ditches and stuff,
In fact,
getting them
Dick
fixed
Grant
up.
did, from our last meeting, the draft letter and sent it to statewide Memphis Metals project with that specifics, because when he left the planning commission meeting, we had a list for him. Our secretary, Dunbar, wrote it up as far, I trust that he got it to him, and that's being acted on. That's all has to do with this phase one, so yes, that is being addressed right now. But these other things, those are the things that falls into Tom's court, and I think we just need to tighten up our procedure a little bit so that there's more of a communication issue at this point, because we never had a code enforcement officer, and just kind of getting off the ground, not excusing it, but that's just part of the problem that we're trying to solve.
Well, Mel was out today to do a final on some stuff. I closed out a couple permits, and so was the electrical inspector. And again, it was like, you got part-time guys doing this, and then you have Tom, who's supposed to be doing some of this other stuff.
Tom's part-time too, he's an on-call. That's
Sure, but,
technically how it works.
but what I'm saying is more to the point is like, if citizen A, citizen B, C, D, and we go through all these things and all these meetings and people get up and they talk about it and there's a constant tone, and Tom still hasn't gotten this information, then that's a breakdown. That's kind of what the complaints were going on. It's not so much that you're not reading my letter into the thing, it's the content of the letter. It's like, has this been passed off yet? Because there's not been any action, and here we are at another meeting saying the same thing over and again. And it may be the same people, but maybe it's because the same people are like, hey, can we reach out to this guy and get there? Because, code is code. I mean, it's black and white. And I get that new systems, and I understand all that.
Just to let you know, when we first got this, I was told by the mayor to send it to our attorney, and that's where it's been.
Yeah.
We just got it back, that's why I put it on the agenda, and I will contact Tom now, because we were waiting to see who the attorney wanted it to go to, whether it was engineering, whatever.
Appreciate it. And the planning commission, the engineering did show up, and Francis was
Right.
there. So, that's a positive.
So we are trying to move on it, but we can only go as fast as he goes.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. I just, wanted to, the seriousness of it as like, okay, well.
Well, code is code, but there's some discretion allowed to the,
Sure.
the enforcer, our enforcer, just like there's with the police officer, who pull somebody over, you could let them go with a warning, things like that. I know of a few people who had gotten letters from Tom when he did rounds before. It's a work in process. It's a working thing. I haven't. I know people who have been asked to have things moved from their property, where they're not super easy things to move, and so there's some discretion. So even if Tom gets all this, he may not address every single thing, and it would go like on a priority basis. So.
No, I understand that totally. I get that. It's just.
We're gonna, now that we've gotten it back from the attorney, that can get forwarded to him, and we can move along hopefully by next, well, maybe not by next meeting, because it's only like a week away. But hopefully by, the following meeting after that, we have a few answers and some of these things are addressed, and it'll really be the ones, I feel like, to prioritize, the ones that are creating a nuisance to the neighbors.
Exactly.
Those are the more important ones, but, little things are little things, it's whatever, but the things that are actually harming the neighbors or making it, I know that they've probably got bugs and mosquitoes and all kinds of stuff next to their house.
So can we get
that's a
that
nuisance.
list to Tom off of that now?
I'll get that to
The ones that
Tom
are
now,
germane
yeah.
to
Yeah.
use.
And see what,
So
you
we'll
can
be
see what is
moving-
his.
Now that that's going to him, hopefully we get some action on that, because the way things are written, we're not really enforcers, we hire somebody to enforce, and now that we can get that to him, hopefully we can take care of some of these things for you and your neighbors.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I do appreciate you bringing these things up, it's a lot,
Yeah,
So-
no, there's a lot there. So, and another thing to add to, like the planning commission input and stuff is, so if you're looking at the tax records, and again, you see citizens at your meetings, you don't see the builder, you don't see the developer in the grand scheme of this project, your condominium development back there. So, as far as phase one, the original build of 15 units, there's only 2 units left that are under statewide ownership. The other 13 units are property tax assigned to citizens. So 2 of 15 is over the 75% threshold when you look at the master deed. That's another component that you need to be aware of going into the planning commission. And the council needs to be aware of too, because that's,
Is it just they haven't closed on them yet? Is that why?
no, there's still 2 that aren't sold. That are still statewide, but.
They're built, they're just not closed, right?
Yeah, but again, when they tell you they're all sold, that's a verbal contract.
But
Okay.
that's sold, not closed.
Right,
They're not-
but there are 13 assigned tax records to individuals that aren't statewide in Memphis of
Yeah.
phase one.
Right.
So 13 of the
So
15.
statewide still pays taxes on everything that they own.
They should be on the 2, but what that does, if you go by the master deed, like I mentioned about Mr. Heavy's comments at the council meeting, that's over the 75% threshold, which should kick in the condominium owners association, which is assigned for phase one. these things are gonna collide, and all that was part of some of this, you know, I mean, it's easy to look at, okay, well, I'm talking about drainage and weeds, but I'm also talking about mechanics, and you understand the real estate side of that. So, I mean, it's just all things to take into consideration.
I have to ask, what's the city's business in that? Whether he has a HOA or not? I mean, that's.
Because the city has assigned, the city approved a project, a condominium project to be built. So therefore, all your code ordinances apply to that build, which is under the contract of the master deed.
Mhm.
So if there's non-compliance issues of the builder or the developer to the master deed, and there's any arbitration, all that arbitration will start through the city. Mr. Francis is aware of that. And that's when I say that I don't want to be the bull in the china shop. And if 8 or 9 of these property owners get together and we go into arbitration through the developer, it's gonna go through the city first, because you've let it get that far. And that's kind of what I've said in a few of these things.
Well, ultimately, they would just go to court though, right?
Yeah, but how do you wanna wait it out? I mean, we know the track record of things, so I mean, how, you know,
Because
that's not good for
it just
any.
seems like more of a civil matters.
I'm just mentioning
you know?
it, but, I mean, you understand.
Yeah, no, I know like statewide is your neighbor. If they're neighboring property owner, they're a taxpayer. You know, they're your
Right.
neighbor. If you have a dispute with your neighbor, generally that's a civil issue. It's not something we send the police over or anything like that, so.
It's not what I'm saying.
Somebody builds a fence that's too close to your property, that's not for us to do anything about. So,
That's not what I'm saying.
They should have drafted an HOA this time, if you have 75% ownership, they should present.
Per their deed, it's just another homeowner's contract, so I put out like contracts over there. Those are things that the city needs to be aware of.
all right, well, so hopefully that everything goes over to Mr. Urban, get some of those things taken care of. Everything else has been kind of ongoingly be reviewed by our attorney, and they'll advise us.
Well, didn't statewide lawyer say that there was an HOA drawn up when he was here?
No, he said that there was no HOA necessary because there is no assessment, and then he also said that there's gonna be 2 separate HOAs, one for the houses, one for the condominiums, apartments, which was not true. That's not what the master deed reads.
He said there
We
would.
can't enforce a master deed.
No, I'm not asking you to
Hold
enforce a
on,
master agency.
hold on,
Eric's-
I'm
Eric's
trying to
just-
figure this out. So, he said that the houses weren't under an HOA, but then he said that,
He said specifically, the houses don't need an HOA.
right,
That was his first line.
but there was an HOA
But there isn't,
In the paperwork.
there is a condominium association.
in the paperwork.
Correct.
Okay.
And then he said there was
So
2
clear.
separate ones for phase 1 and phase 2, which is not in the
I
paperwork.
think, I could be mistaken, but I thought when he was talking about the ones that didn't need an HOA, those were the ones on the east side of the road, those 3 houses.
Yes.
Not the ones on the other side that we call phase 1. Because the 3 on the east side are not really even part of
The
phase 1.
three on the east side are part of the development.
Right, they're not part
He
of
was
that.
specifically, we were
That's
specifically.
what I gathered from it. I can review the video and see, but
Yeah.
that's what I gathered from it.
I'm just going
That
by
those
what-
ones don't need an HOA, but the others.
Correct, but he said that phase 1 didn't need one. And Robbie, we're still drafting the answers to all his questions. So that we get it all
Okay,
right.
so we'll move on. No, nothing really to vote on. We're sending this stuff to town, obviously, there. So we'll move on to number 5, and again, thanks. Number 5, introduction to amend street and sidewalk ordinance number 226. Is this something you were doing, Eric?
Yeah.
Okay, and I think Steve has some input on it, so I don't know if you wanna start.
Take it away with it.
Okay. This is basically just an ordinance that we were hoping to adopt that will require all house sales to have their sidewalk inspected and repaired if needed, before it's sold, or the new homeowner would have to take responsibility for the sidewalk and then repair it, like say if it's sold in the winter, you can't replace the sidewalk. This way, over time, all the sidewalks in town should be in really good condition because they're gonna be repaired every time a house is sold.
Yeah, it helps.
We also already have an ordinance that says we'll go around and look at the sidewalks, but that really doesn't happen. But I'm thinking this way, it will put the onus on whoever's selling the house before they
Yeah.
sell it.
And really what it does is like if somebody's buying it and the buyer's gonna take on this cost, or even the sellers if it's winter time, generally what you're gonna do is escrow that money You don't just take them and they say, oh, hey, we're gonna do this later, and you just hope they do. They actually escrow 1.5 times the amount that it would cost to do it. It pays for the job in the spring, and then they get returned the money back, that, whatever the difference is. That's why you do 1.5. So that's usually, I believe that's generally how it's done in any place that does something similar to that. I know this is pretty much gleaned from Yale, because I know I've done a few listings in Yale, and you know they come out. It's just part of it. It's a city, it's a just normal city inspection. I don't even know what they charge to come out and look. It's just DPW comes and looks at it, says okay, everything looks to be in order, and you're good. If not, this pad or this pad needs to be replaced if they're uneven.
There's no charge.
And
There's no charge.
there's no charge for inspection. Okay, no charge to inspect. Just come look at it. If something needs to be done, then they can either use their own contractor to do it, or hire a preferred contractor that the city has.
If the city chooses to do any great amount, here's your choice.
Right.
Hire your own,
Yeah. And
city
they'll have
have a
that choice.
contractor, you're gonna do it, so.
Yeah. So,
And put on your taxes.
all right. Have you said what you had to say there?
Yeah.
All good?
I'm just tail ending on that, I was just wanted to put the mechanics in place again of the inspections and the timeline. We were gonna, when we were first originally talking about this, as you just mentioned, we could give homeowners an option to repair it themselves, or we would have a company come out and quote per square foot, or however they would wish to do that. What I'm trying to accomplish is, when are we gonna do it? What's our action plan? I mean, can we get these inspections maybe done before fall? And maybe set this up for spring, make people aware that it's coming? Because if we have the ordinances in place now, just the overall inspection so that we could knock out some of the problem areas that are there, at least make people aware that, you know, these, I know we've neglected it for years, but we're not anymore.
You're talking sidewalks, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but this,
It ain't gonna happen for me this year. I'll tell you right.
Well, that's why I'm bringing it up. I'm
Yeah.
trying to get an idea of when are we actually going to initiate the program?
that, what you're talking about, we have had an existing
That's been
ordinance for
existing
that.
for years.
This is only about home sales.
I understand that, that's why. I'm
That's-
trying to
well, you
get
said we
that-
have an ordinance
that's
now.
why
I was just
wanted to
saying,
talk
there's nothing
about
new.
This aspect
Yeah.
of the site, because we had talked about it
Yeah.
a few months back and a few months before that. So, what is the answer? I mean, you say, Bart, well, we put it off till spring?
Well, I'm just saying, I am so jam-packed
I
with
know, I
projects.
understand, you don't have to explain,
And that's all.
I understand you're busy, but I'm a guy who likes to know, who's gonna do it, when's it gonna be done, do we have an action plan, that's all. I don't
Yeah.
care if it's now or if it's 2028, I just like to have an idea of what's on the schedule.
I
and how we're
would
gonna
like
accomplish
20
it.
years ago, but
Well, I know, well, let's talk about today though, and if not today, how about, is this
ASAP.
something that realistically, just to do initially, we gotta look at the city.
And there's unique situations
Some,
to the
straight paved sidewalk or something.
where the lot of issues are where trees are growing,
And there are trees.
and there are trees.
Well, then we need to take that into account, and I
Yeah.
think we discussed that also.
Yeah.
If it's a tree on
I
city
don't-
property that's pulled
I
on the
don't
sidewalk.
feel that the homeowner should have
No,
to
I don't
pay
either.
to cut a tree down.
But we have to identify those areas. Again, so
Exactly.
we're getting back to
Yes.
documenting, let's document what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And as a fallout on that, each homeowner is gonna realize if they have an obligation or responsibility.
Sure.
And if we have these tree problems, we gotta take care of them, they're not gonna go away. So that's all I'm doing, is I wanted to rekindle the subject and see if we cannot come up with some sort of outline of how and when we can begin to initiate this program and not come talk about it.
Well, generally on our code, I think it's the month of May, Diana, everyone.
It's in the spring for sure.
It's in the spring anyways, where I'm supposed to be, walk the sidewalk, pass out notices to people and stuff.
And tag the squares that are bad and need to be replaced.
Yeah,
I
And
mean,
then
is
the
it a
homeowner,
labor problem? I mean, would you need assistance? Could we hire somebody part-time who has the ability to go along and just
Well,
document that if that's the issue?
my department could use a part-time.
Yeah.
To start
Come,
with.
come May perhaps,
If they
Well,
did
that's what I'm
nothing
saying.
but
If
ride the
that's what
mower.
it takes, let's do that.
well, I mean, 2 months from now, there's not gonna be that much grass to cut, right? So that will obviously ease things for you.
Oh,
In my mind, this was sort of like the groundwork, and then the advisory committee should go over this and figure out the next step. That's what how I pictured it.
yeah.
This is only for home sales.
Right, I understand.
Right,
Yeah.
so if you have a house and you're gonna sell it, somebody would have to come out and look at your sidewalk and either approve it or not approve it and let you know, here's the thing. I know we've had the guys from Richmond come out here and do a lot of the sidewalks over by the library and other places too. I can't even think of where else it was, but.
And we should really
So-
lead by example. I mean, if the city-owned sidewalks should be fixed before we start running around telling everybody what they got.
Oh, around the police department, we did.
It's all
a few years
Oh, yeah,
ago.
right, yeah,
It's
we
all,
did.
it's all being.
We
I know they're
all
doing
the
it, but I'm
sidewalks.
saying that,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. You
should lead
start
by
at home.
example here.
Start at home, exactly.
Right. So, yeah, and I know, sorry for the confusion, but since we're gonna be on the subject of sidewalks, that's why I didn't speak on the other.
No, that's fine.
No,
I like this.
I don't have a problem with it at all.
At least this ties up one loophole, you're not gonna get out of the city unless you got your sidewalk repaired. If all else fails,
Yeah.
we have to stop that measure for that.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll have to talk about this Thursday with the advisory committee and put that on our agenda too.
Tom Urban also recommended that for new home builds, to put in a sidewalk.
Everywhere.
If there's a sidewalk.
Everything. No, everything. If you have a house in the middle of a field and you put a sidewalk in front of it, eventually you're gonna have a house next door. That's what Tom said. I'm just telling you what Tom said.
Yeah, that's what he recommended.
But listen, are you gonna tell me you haven't driven through Sterling Heights and seen a house with a sidewalk in
No,
front
I
of it?
know, I'm just saying, I
It's
just.
there.
Last township.
That's what Tom said.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you what Tom said.
But there was a lot of existing homes with no sidewalk that you'd have to fill that gap in. I mean, I had it happen when I lived.
That's a whole other issue.
Yeah,
That's a whole other issue.
At
That
least
had to
their
happen.
part's done.
It was funny, when I lived
We
in,
gotta quit giving away no sidewalks,
Right.
people want development.
Right. So
We've already given up plenty of that,
we,
this last development.
And we got city
I
funds.
lived down the street and they came around and did a sidewalk and we all had to pay it for it, you know, they didn't ask us, they said, we're gonna put a sidewalk on the road and this is what your bill is. My neighbor 2 doors down decided he didn't want a sidewalk and he didn't have to do it. He had a mud trail going through his yard though, because everybody who walked the sidewalk kept walking down a path, you know. He kinda, I think, regretted his decision
So
not
that's
to
what
do
we
it.
don't want.
Yeah, and I don't know why Richmond didn't, was there
Don't care
a
what
reason?
Richmond does.
I'm saying, was there a reason that they couldn't force him?
That's up to their ordinances, we're
Yeah.
dealing with our.
No, was there a legal reason why they couldn't force him
Be a
to
fine
put a sidewalk
discussion,
in front
but
of
it
his,
doesn't
they'd have to
affect
go in
what
front
we
of the
want
lawyer?
here in Memphis though.
Or the lawyer that would know a state law that says there's a reason you can't just force a person to put a sidewalk in front of their house, the existing house. There may be a law that I'm not aware of, is what I'm saying.
Might be.
Can I ask, let me say one thing too, I've got all
A new bill
three.
is one thing, you know.
The houses on Pratt Road that you wanted a sidewalk in front of that we send the letters to, they all three signed.
Oh.
So who does the next step? You gotta find somebody to do them?
Well, at this point here, there's a vacant lot sitting,
For one more house.
yeah, and I forget the reason why I did talk to.
Because that's where the detention pond has to go behind that.
Yeah, exactly, so I'm
That's-
thinking they're
that's-
keeping it open so they can construct that detention pond. So we got that 88 feet or 80-foot frontage, whatever the frontage is.
Yeah.
And now we want to address that ditch, that the sidewalk or bridge, what's going to happen there.
Big stuff.
So
So it's on hold.
it's up.
At least that part.
It's definitely not forgotten. Oh,
No,
no.
So, okay, if that's going to advisory gonna take up the issue on sidewalks and some things, but, can I get a motion to
Let's table it.
this
Yeah.
whole thing?
Yep.
What was the sidewalk?
And make,
I'll make a motion to table it.
I thought it was separate, so.
Support,
Okay, Mazer,
yes.
Schneider,
Yep.
Selfa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson, Zimmer, Murder, absent.
Okay, number 6, Bart will speak on this, that's regarding 80122 Robert Street.
Yes, unfortunately, February 10th or 11th, Wendy is here, the homeowner. They had a fire. It was a garage fire that led into the furnace room and into the kitchen, all the way the entire house was uninhabitable and were forced to move. So they have, I think they just started moving back in last week, I don't know if you're
We got
fully
the
in.
approval last Monday.
Last Monday they had an approval. So they've been out of the house since the fire back in February. I know she paid a water bill,
Yeah,
and she wasn't even there for that full quarter, but she paid that one, but I think she's asking
yeah, about this one.
forgiveness on your last one that
Yeah,
you
the one we
received.
just got, and they just got a shut off notice yesterday, and
Yeah. But no, we talked to City Hall. So what
And
I'm
I don't
asking,
think
and
I
I don't
should have
think
to
it's
pay,
correct.
since I don't live there and we had a fire.
Exactly. Yeah, she was ordered out of
And
the
how
house,
can
the
you-
water was ordered shut off. It was-
Right, and how can you base $170-some when it's not running at all, at zero?
That's how we're
There's a
structured.
minimum.
That's normal.
There's a minimum.
That's just how we're structured.
I was just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a basic service fee.
But that's what the dollar amount is, what you.
Right.
So due to hardship, I guess what you're asking is for this quarter's water bill to be waived.
Yes.
And that is the
That would be
motion.
the entire bill, including the trash, because they weren't living there to produce any trash. The contractors were there, but they had their
Yeah,
own
they were using their
dumpsters.
dumpsters.
But we had to pay the trash.
Yeah, we did.
We paid
We
the
have to
trash.
pay
Oh.
for it.
We paid our trash hauler to
Okay.
drive by
Whether
her
you use it or
house.
not, we pay for the
Right.
trash for every address here in town.
Just like everybody don't recycle, but they still pay.
So, but for the water bill, at least we can do for the water bill, entertain a motion to, do the.
So just to talk about a little history, so this has come up in the past before.
Yeah,
And I'm assuming you have insurance right on your house?
Mhm.
So was that talked about at all in the insurance settlement?
Nope,
No?
nope.
So I know this, we've had, been in this situation before, we had a flood, something
He
happened.
said that I had to pay when, when the electric got shut off, when they had to cut the electric and everything. He said when it gets put back on, we are responsible for the water bills and all the electric. I said, but we're not living there. He goes, well, you have to bring it up to your city. That's all my insurance company said.
Okay, thank you. I know we had a thing in the past where somebody was actually in Florida and their pipes froze and broke and their water was running for,
well, they weren't living there.
no, they were in Florida. They were not in town.
Oh, okay, that's a different.
For the winter, right?
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about? You remember that?
We've had
yes,
a couple.
Yeah, this is just one example.
right.
Do you remember, did we actually give them relief or no? I don't think we did.
We may not have done that
We did.
situation.
Okay.
Because because it was livable, it was their choice to leave the water on instead of shutting it off while they were gone.
Yeah, so,
And we've had a couple of those. and
right, exactly.
This wasn't the case.
I agree. And we also had an issue where somebody's house burned down,
Yeah.
and then the fire department wanted to collect, whatever they called it at the
Oh,
time.
yeah,
And
$1,000.
when we first signed that in, as an ordinance, we were told that the people in Memphis whose house burned down, if they didn't have insurance, and he didn't have insurance on the house that was next door to him, he bought
Yeah,
and was fixing it up. House burned down, total loss. And he still had to pay the recovery fee for the fire department. So I think that was totally wrong. I think we made a mistake when we did not give those people relief on their water bill when their water was frozen. We should have at least given them something.
yes.
I absolutely agree that we should give her relief.
I
As far
think we
as
did give them relief on their water bill.
the flooded basement?
Oh, not the
The
flood,
fire
the
people?
Fire, I'm talking.
No? For Francisco?
Yeah, because you had me look it up and I says, oh, they didn't pay.
Yeah, you did look it up for me.
Francisco did not pay?
I don't think he paid in water because there was nothing to his
No,
house
no.
anymore.
The recovery fee from the fire
No,
department?
he paid that, I'm talking about the water bill.
That recovery, if you have insurance, is gonna pay,
We were told when it came before council,
right,
that if the person's house burnt down and they did not have insurance, that there would be no recovery fee. But then we
Exactly.
sat here and went through 2 or 3 meetings talking about it, and then we decided apparently that he was gonna pay his recovery fee. I didn't agree with that. I definitely agree that we should give her relief, and that's all I'm saying about it.
okay.
But not the trash.
You wanna make a
Yeah.
motion?
We pay for the trash.
Yeah, that's true on that.
I'll make a motion to give relief for the water bill for the quarter of May, June, July, or no, April, May, June, right, first, second quarter, or fourth quarter?
And no penalty cost? Is there a penalty fee on that already? Or no?
Well, if you take
May,
it off, there's
June,
not gonna be.
May,
Zero
June,
bill.
July the bill, yeah. I think,
Support.
April, May, June.
April,
Yes.
May, and June it
They were
is.
supposed to be due last month.
Okay, Schneider,
Thank you.
Yep.
Sofa,
Yep.
Weaver, Wilson, Zimmer, Murder, absent, Mazer.
Yes.
now there is two, like he said, there's a trash and then a recycle.
Yeah,
Split
I'll
off
look
on
it
that.
up on
Yeah,
the
we-
file.
Yes, two, those two. we have to-
Yeah, I'll come pay for it, yeah. Thank you, Bart.
All right.
Okay, moving on, we've got some bills to pay, just for the, out of the streets budget, Advanced Tree Experts, $2,100, another from Advanced Tree Experts of $1,100. Can I get a motion to pay those bills?
Could I just get a description, Bart, what do they do? Where were these trees taken down?
I had, I think it was a total of three over on Track Road, they were near a hydrant. I hate to mention his name, but Tommy Karen's house right across the street from Tommy.
Both invoices.
Is that why you removed them, because they were interfering with the hydrant?
Well, I knew it was gonna drop through there, it kept falling, and the people's power lines right there, and then there was about, I think, two more in there that were,
Okay.
anyway, so I had those cleaned up, and then the last one was done right here on Cedar Street. In fact, the stump was still there, it needs to be ground, but we were losing limbs all the time, and I was getting complaints about the
Yeah,
neighbor,
serious.
complaining about so.
I know it's hard to read, I seen the ones that Brad wrote, I
Yeah.
couldn't make out what the other one said. So, okay,
I thought they both said Potter. Oh, I see.
Brad,
Yeah, one should be cedar, and I know I kinda,
oh, Cedar, I can see.
see, I found them crunched up behind the seat of my truck.
I'll make a motion to pay Advanced Tree Experts, fees of $2,100 and $1,100 for tree work done.
Support.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson, Zimmer, Murder, absent, Mazer,
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Alright, on to, water and sewer, Tom Ward and Sons invoice for $24,000. This was for sewer lagoon bank repair. If anybody wants to discuss, you can, but,
Been completed, I do have pictures on my phone if you like, or you're welcome to, I can take you out there.
So we put that mat down, Bart, keep the woodchucks out?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Come on, nice.
I'll make a motion to pay Tom Ward and Sons $24,000.
Support.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson, Zimmer, Murder, absent, Mazer,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yep.
Sofa.
Yeah. And then on to, number 10, fire department, Apollo fire apparatus invoice of $1,361.51. There's a detailed invoice here for you. If you have any questions, I imagine you can ask the fire chief. But it pretty much says everything that they did. So, can we
I
have a
just
motion?
have one comment to make on that, the air conditioning I'm fine with. Oh, she's still here.
This is the fire department.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, wrong one, looking at the wrong paper.
Yeah, he's at a Chiefs meeting, he couldn't make it.
Yeah, that's next. So, on this
Yeah, I'll
one,
make a motion to pay Apollo $1,361.51.
Support.
Okay, Wilson, Zimmer, Murder, absent, Mazer,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa,
yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
All right, on to the proposal from the police department. I know this was brought to me by Eric, but I don't know if the chief wants to speak on this before we
Which
have
question,
any
Steve?
discussion. I believe this is for the HVAC, you're doing mini splits over there?
Yeah, the mini splits are great systems, I like them and all that. I think the price is reasonable for that, but in good conscience, I think it's a little inflated to draft a donation letter for $20,000. I in good conscience just can't support that. I don't see where installing that would be a $24,000 job. And conscience will not allow me, I'll support the cost of material and labor, all that. I absolutely want people to be comfortable, and I'd say for split systems, you can expand on them and so forth and so on, but I don't know where's the $20,000 coming into this contractor. I think that's worth $25,000 to put in a condenser with two feeds. Basically, that's what it is. You just hang up a little fan on the wall that runs off the refrigerant off of one condenser. I retired from the trade, so I know how they operate. I just don't want to be party to that. To me, it's just not it's not ethical to me for the $20,000.
How much do you think it should cost?
Well, it was a dent and bump, which is great. Those are great deals. The furnaces or anything else, there's nothing wrong with them. I don't know. I'm not the contractor. I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but I don't think it's worth $20,000.
Okay.
So if it's dependent on him getting that work for us to leverage writing a letter saying that he's doing $20,000 worth $20,000 more dollars, I'm sorry, I'm not on board with that. That's all. And that's not to say it wouldn't pass, but I'm just getting my 2 cents in. That's all.
So
All
how
I
do
can say
you,
about it.
so do you think getting quotes for similar type installation, similar type equipment, to see what the actual cost would be? I mean, how do I come up with that number, is what I'm saying. If you're not getting invented.
Well, I mean, Chief, I'd say whatever somebody would do for the actual work.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, what that would fall
What it
under.
would cost,
I don't know what the market is exactly for that, but I know it's not gonna be $25,000. It just seems way overinflated. It could be $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. That's why I'm just curious. If he can justify that, change my mind. I'd just like to know a little bit more about that before I vote yes on that, and knowing that that just doesn't seem ethical to me. I could be wrong, but I'm just.
Okay, I mean, I have the quote, the breakdown of the equipment and the supplies. I mean, I don't know if you have all that.
Yeah, I got it right here. Just
So,
cost of labor material, $24,000.
okay.
Deduct for donation letter, $20,000.
Well, I'm not worried about that. I'm talking about the actual breakdown of the cost of the materials, labor.
I don't think you have that. I was told just to
Yeah,
make the
I got
first
it.
2 pages, do you?
Yeah, I just have it broke down to you. The total cost of labor material is $48.40.
It was actually supposed to be front and back on the first 2 pages.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I
I
didn't
didn't
see
make
that.
it clear.
You guys wanna table this while you entertain the more detailed?
You can vote for it if you want. I'm just
Okay,
telling you, I can't support it like that without at least knowing more about that.
I mean, you could have exactly what I have, with the cost breakdown, if you wanna take a look at it, or it's up, whatever you wanna do.
Yeah,
I'm not a huge cooling guy either. I have a quote
No,
from a contractor.
Yeah, I'm
He's
not calling you out, Chief, I'm just.
No, he's breaking down the materials, the cost to actually buy the units, to buy the materials, the installation. I don't know it was all across the board when I looked into it as well too, as far as the numbers for these jobs, so.
How many contractors do you have? What do you guys wanna do about it? Somebody wants to make a motion to table or to vote on it?
Do you wanna table it? Do you want me to get a couple more, actually bids to do the job?
Okay, I'll make a motion to table it and get another bid.
That's fine.
Support.
It's nice to see more than one.
Okay, Zinner, Martyr, absent, Mazer,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson, absent.
Support.
Oh yeah, the Boardman Road, Phase 3. Right here, it's in the handout, it wasn't in the packet, came late. So this is written between Larry and Bart. They attended a meeting Wednesday, August 14th at St. Clair County Road Commission. They're requesting road projects for the fiscal years 2027, 2028, 2029. They're proposing that we apply for a grant to complete Phase 3 of Boardman Road from Main Street to Henderson Street. The engineering from BMJ Engineering will prepare the necessary documents. Some engineering is already done. They need council approval to proceed. which is to proceed with getting the engineering done, correct?
Well, just to fill out
Get the process,
Yeah.
everything. So they're just asking for approval to proceed on moving forward with phase 3, so the sooner the better on that.
Hopefully we'll get the money, but there's a chance we won't. I mean, you never know.
Is this to file the application part with the city?
Yeah.
And this is through Scott's, right?
Through Scott, yeah. It's considered a tip fund for rural, and there's not a whole lot of money in there, so.
Well, the engineering firm that did Rogers Street, they got us those grants before, is that this,
I'd like to not comment at this moment about that. We'd like to proceed with that, but that's another discussion for another time, Robbie, with all due respect.
okay, I just
All
know
right.
they did good grants.
So on Boardman Road, phase 3 reconstruction, requesting approval to proceed. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Murder acts at Mazer,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson, and Zimmer absent.
All right, on to number 13, which is our CD. I believe it has renewed, right? So what do we need to do with this
You
stuff?
still got to vote on it,
Still
you can
gotta-
also vote to like take it out if you want.
We still have to vote to renew it, even though it's technically been renewed, so.
Make a motion to renew our CD with choice 1.
6 months, right, Donna?
It was a
A year.
year
Well, year.
at 4.89%.
Yeah.
Did somebody support it or no?
I'll move that we renew the CD to 4.9% coming
Mazer,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
in. Yes.
Wilson, Zimmer, murder absent.
So we're to number 14. Steve, you had some planning commission consultant?
Yeah, Eric gave me a couple of phone numbers for some planners. We are requesting from the planning commission to get some assistance reviewing plans and working on a couple of issues regarding the condo projects and other things in our ordinances. I called, there was 2 people, Steve Cassidy, who was retiring, and Karen Levere, who has worked for him for 15 years and does quite a bit of work in various municipalities and cities around the area. I had a brief discussion with her today, telling her that we want to consult on a condominium project, phase 1, and more importantly, the upcoming phase 2. So our application process, we really should have a plan to review this. And going over, these are people that are much more knowledgeable on master deed questions, state oversight, county oversight, all that kind of stuff. So I told her there's like 3 areas that the planning commission needs help on right now. One is review of our street requirements that are in our code that there's been a lot of questions about that I don't think we're capable of answering ourselves internally. Design layout and standards, we need to have that stuff understood before and if we ever get to phase 2, what is going to be required of Memphis Meadows to be within those guidelines in our ordinances. And also limiting the height, bulk, density in areas. I wanted someone to be able to look at those parts of our ordinances, which are probably 50 some odd years old, compare them, and give us a readout on it. Now, the nuts and bolts as far as the way that they work, or she works, and I go on to talk to these 2 people, is she will be on a retainer with a municipality for $500 a month. I told her straight up, we don't need somebody to be on retainer for $500 a month, because I don't think we're gonna have that much work. But I said it would be nice if we could just get, to know you and get some assistance on these things. How would that work? And she said generally when she's on a $500 a month retainer, that covers 2-hour upfront cost per month, $60 an hour is what they charge. And just being on retainer like you would for a tree surgeon or a lawyer or anything else. So I said, I'd like to propose to the council asking for this assistance that we could have a budget of up to $500 and work with this on a few things. Document your time we have burned up $500, we stop. Let's see what we can get out of it, at least try to figure out if it's worth our while to do. It's a small investment, I feel, particularly with this phase 2 project looming one way or another. And we need to get some definitive answers on those 3 areas of our code that I mentioned. And it would be a chance to just work with a professional planner. We also have, we could be talking with Macomb County, and we could run some things by them also. But I would really, when we get an application process, the DPW, the planning, engineer, these people should be sitting down and looking at these plans. We're gonna give them an application, in which, by the way, she mentioned generally, they pay for that review, the builders will. So that wouldn't be a cost necessarily, that would be on us. But they are gonna look through this application after Memphis, or rather statewide, has formally put their application, which has not happened yet with phase 2. And she would also be able to look over phase 1 and see what boxes need to be checked there, or what details need to be fleshed out there. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity, so I'm asking if we could get a budget of $500 and get her out to a planning commission meeting, get to know her, give her a couple of tasks to look into us, and see how much work they can get done for us, and maybe we can make some progress on that. That's what I have on that.
It's an awesome idea. Should have had that before.
Well, time.
I agree.
So I would ask, make a motion to council to allow a $500 budget to hire an ad hoc planner for the duration that budget lasts, for $500 worth.
So we make a new line item then for planning, right, Donna?
I'll see what goes in there.
I think what you should do is ask her to, first thing, to look over our current zoning and to find out how much it would cost to have her updated.
I mentioned that to her, Eric. I said, we got, our ordinances are all old, and subsequently to this little exercise, we would like to perhaps start looking into the ordinance as a whole and seeing what areas need attention. But this would give us an opportunity at least to professionally get to know them and get some solid work done that we need. And I really want somebody who knows more about this than I do going forward with the condominium projects.
They came highly respected, man, so I don't know what to say. I'll second it.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson, absent, Zimmer and Martyr, absent, Mazer.
Yes,
So that's it as far as our agenda, but I do have some correspondence from Councilman Zimmer about setting a special council meeting up for, says Tuesday, September 27th, if that works for everybody, at 7 p.m.
What was that date?
Tuesday, September 27th, yeah. I don't
I
understand,
think he means August, because
I'm gonna say.
August,
maybe-
August,
it's gotta be
it's August, I
I've
wrote
heard
I
that.
say, yeah,
August.
because we'd be way past our 30 days, so.
Right.
Yeah,
That's what I was just gonna
I
say,
wrote
is like,
that.
September, did you guys get an extension on something? So August 27th, does that work for everybody here at the table today?
yes.
at 7.
Does for me.
It works, it should work for me.
I don't know. We only need 5 or 4, right?
Yes.
Two. You in?
Yeah,
Well, Tim would be in there before.
he requested it, so yeah.
I'm
And
sure
Kurt will be
Kurt will
back,
be here, yeah.
maybe hopefully Larry, so, I guess set that up, Donna, and, that's
7 o'clock?
all I have, 7 o'clock. And you'll send out notice and packets, right, or something?
So it's gonna be a one-item agenda then, right?
This is this is
Special
meeting agenda. The one topic thing to go over, probably the numbers that they've got for quotes on things and stuff like that, so. I have nothing more, so, Steve?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
I'm good.
Motion to adjourn. Thank you.